King Von wasn't just reckless in the streets, he kept that same energy locked up. Inside, respect wasn't given, it was taken. And Von, he made sure everybody knew his name. From beating up ops to nearly burning down the whole jail, his time inside was pure chaos. Tense face-offs, wild stunts, moments that had even the toughest inmates second-guessing. It was anything but quiet. Here are King Von's most disrespectful and savage moments behind bars. King Von's time in Cook County wasn't just jail time, it was a training ground, a place that shaped him into what many called a certified stepper in the new wave of drill. But to understand how he moved inside, you've got to know what really put him there. Back in 2014, Von was at a house party. Nothing crazy, just chilling. But some guys in the spot, including Malcolm Stuckey and his people, kept staring him down, tension rising. Von noticed he was outnumbered, so he made the smart call, left the party, hopped into a car, and went to pick up backup. His guy, Big Mike. About 45 minutes later, Von and Mike came back. They didn't park out front. They pulled into a side alley low-key. Both stepped out the car, armed, and made their way toward the house. Outside, Malcolm and two others were sitting on the porch. That's when everything turned violent. Von and Mike opened fire. Malcolm and one of his friends tried to run but were hit. The third man got two while trying to make it inside. All three were hit badly. Malcolm didn't make it. He took one to the head and died later that day. After the Von and Big Mike took off trying to disappear, but it didn't take long. The police were on it fast. Over 20 shell casings were found. Both Von and Mike were arrested within days. During questioning, Big Mike broke, admitted to firing off the entire clip, saying he 15 or 16 times. But Von, he stayed quiet and didn't fold. They were both charged with no bail, first-degree plus 2 attempted. Life was on the line. The situation was serious. There was no easy way out. Even behind bars, Von wasn't falling back. He stayed active, moving the same way he did in the streets. One moment had the whole jail buzzing. He ran into an op in the Bullpin and didn't hesitate for a second. It was a regular day. Inmates packed into holding, sitting around. Tension was always there, but nothing had popped off yet. Then Von spotted somebody. 051 Freaky. The energy shifted immediately. Von locked in. Nobody knows how, but he slipped out of his cuffs like it was second nature. Freaky saw it too late and tried to move through the crowd and hide behind other inmates, but Von stayed on him and caught him clean. A couple other guys jumped in with Von once they saw what was happening. The Bullpen turned into chaos. Fists flying, yelling, everything out of control. It wasn't until the COs rushed in that things got broken up. What had everybody talking wasn't just the fight, it was how Von got out the cuffs. Even the guards were confused.
See your wrist? You could even see that he was cuffed, correct? Because you could see the marks from the cuffs on his arm. How'd you get out of your cuffs? How'd you get out of your cuffs? You don't want to, how'd you get out of your cuffs?
Thought I was still in them.
You thought you were still in them? Are you double jointed? I'm just asking. I'm not gonna put a case on you or nothing. I just want to know, man.
No, I just got home. Shit, I'm on swing. See my hand, little.
Because you got little hands? I'm just asking.
I think, yeah, look.
Mid FBG Pilano.
Well, they're on there, good.
You go for Austin Pilano. Not UFTO. Hey, give me a 21 and 6526.
You can see.
6526 now.
Later, word spread about what really set Von off. Freaky had a tattoo across his chest that said L.A. Capone. To Von, that wasn't just ink. That was pure disrespect. Von didn't say a word when questioned, stayed silent. Freaky didn't snitch either. They both held it down. But nobody was surprised. Real ones knew the history. 051 was tied to L.A. Capone's. On September 26, 2013, L.A. had just left the studio. While heading to meet his ride near 70th and Stony Island, he got ambushed and word on the street said the was 051 Lil Mick. So when Von saw Freaky that day, it wasn't random, it was get back. That wasn't the only time Von put an op on blast behind bars. He also called out Lil Jay, and this time, the entire pod was watching. One clip went viral where Von was talking slick to the guards, acting like he wanted to be moved to protective custody. At first, people were confused. Why would Von, known for standing on business, ask for PC?
Them my pictures?
What's Ackerman doing?
Bro, could you please get my picture from that man?
Where's the plumber at? In there?
It's the only thing I've been on that's got a problem with it. They supposed to be a Christian day, but they got a problem with gay people. How you gonna be Christian?
So because of your sexual orientation, you're requesting protective custody, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I get along with, the straight people and no problem, but over there, just, they got a problem with me. I don't never start nothing.
Okay. I'm not mad at you.
That bitch got my picture. You trying to take my picture in my sister. Bye, Lil Josh. I'm gonna you too.
What's going on?
This is what I'm talking.
Oh, handcuff him and get his ID so we can take him downstairs to start the PC process. Behind the back, you can pat him down too.
030 to 210. But then the truth came out. It wasn't fear. It was strategy. Von didn't want to be put anywhere near Lil Jay, someone he saw as an embarrassment to the streets. Word inside was that Lil Jay had been moving real suspect while locked up. When Von found out Jay was in protective custody, he told the guards he wasn't trying to be around people like that. Not because he was scared, but because the energy wasn't right. He refused the transfer. The guards kept pushing, but Von stood firm. They told him they'd figure it out through classification, but Von had already made his position clear.
Go in. So when they stab me up and rape me, whatever they do for me, then what?
That doesn't happen in protective custody. I just offered you protective custody and you refused it.
I'm saying, I done did so much to people in the world. You gotta check my pants though. Y'all got all that shit on the computer. You got Jeff McGraw.
Sir, that's up to classification to assign you different cells, okay?
Huh? I'm trying to get away from that whole thing. They trying to keep.
I don't make those decisions, classification does.
Right, you could have called classification, you started me. I'm knowing that for a fact. So now I gotta get the whole time. I gotta punch somebody, do something. You guys can get off of that. This chance will come out of it. So I gotta get Mace to go told or something.
Division 9, for radio, 877, Alaska.
Talking to you, Sergeant. Stop that. Real, like, what's the best way to?
The best way to what? To what?
Altercation, get away from that. Come on.
You know the options available to you as a detainee here at the county of Cook in the jail? The options available to you are inmate request forms. You fill those out, they'll be answered accordingly. Okay? If you're having an issue, you fill out the inmate request form, social worker comes, picks them up, and they'll handle it. Okay, that's how you do things. This stuff, ask for PC and refuse a PC, correct. I don't decide where you get housed. Classification does. Classification puts you in that cell on 3E, that's where you stay. You request protective custody, and you refuse protective custody. I'm sorry? Right.
And he wasn't the only one keeping distance. Even Lil Jay's former homie, FBG Wooski, didn't want to be anywhere near him. He went as far as requesting to be moved to the hole, solitary, just to avoid being on the same tier. Back when Von first called Jay out, not everybody believed it. Lil Jay denied the rumors heavy. He said it was all lies.
Another thing too is people were talking about, some tranny or messing with a guy. Let's clear the air on that too. That's like the number one thing people want to talk about.
When I heard that shit, that was the most goofiest shit I ever heard in my life. And I knew it had to come from somebody goofy or something. Don't never play with my name like that, man. Never said no gay shit. When I was out, none of that shit. Why the f? But I do anything with a gay motherfucker. I f all the hoes. I ain't got nothing against the gay people. I f all the hoes. I love pussy to death. I love it. That shit fool, man. Niggas made that room up. The Titan Beef and Pepsi made that up, man. Trying to clear his name up. everybody just ran with it. It was a rumor. That's what rumors do. I can't be about that. My know the truth. I know the truth. It's the end of that. For now.
Yeah. You know, on the internet, people believe anything that's on the internet.
Yeah, because once one motherfucker see it shit like a virus, one motherfucker see it, the next motherfucker see it, he gonna believe it. I went back to really defend myself anyway, so I ain't gonna fuck about that. I'm here now. I want to see motherfuckers say that while I'm here now. Bro, talking about any gay, none of that. That shit ain't me. I'm 00, man. Y'all got me.
But then the footage came out. One clip showed Lil Jay letting another inmate sit in his lap, even kissing him, right there in the pod. Another clip showed Jay stepping up to defend the same inmate after someone pressed him. The guy called Jay to his cell. Jay pulled up, confronted the other inmate, and they started fighting. Right after, guards pulled Jay out the day room, and the inmate he was protecting finally came out too. Once those clips hit the internet, everything changed. People realized Von had been telling the truth all along. Even folks from Lil Jay's own camp started switching up on him. King Yella, one of Jay's former close allies, trolled him on IG Live too. But Von wasn't just talking, he was still in motion. If words didn't work, his hands handled it. A surveillance video from inside Cook County caught Von and his man going all in on someone in the hallway. No talk, no warning. They walked up and pressed him hard, right in front of a correctional officer. But the CO didn't step in. He just backed off, like he already knew how it was gonna play out. Von and his bro ran him from one end to the other, and that guard still didn't move, just slid to the side and let it happen. Eventually, backup showed up. One of the officers pulled out the OC spray. Von tried to dip off, wipe his face down, but the hit was already made. The point was proven. When they brought Von in for questioning, the officers tried to play it cool, asked him why he was posted up in that corner. Von kept it calm, said he didn't need a medic, said he talked to psych, but never dropped a word about why it went down or who the guy even was. The target? Never officially ID'd. But when the footage leaked online, people had opinions. Some clowned Von, saying he should have gone one-on-one. But the ones who really understand, they knew better. Von wasn't trying to fight fair. He was on business, strictly mission time to catch a target slipping. He even said it in his track, "Get It Done." Hope you don't think you the only one you running around this. We doing one, me and Peasy. We gon' get it done, jump it. Ain't no one-on-ones. In another video, Von saw 2 inmates jumping one of his ops. No second guessing, he stepped right in, swung on both of them. But right after, someone else tried to catch Von slipping. That's when Von spun around, cracked him clean with a hook, and dropped him cold. Officers came running, chased him down, and slammed him to the ground. And it wasn't just other inmates Von clashed with. He even got into it with a correctional officer. But what really turned heads? Von almost set the whole jail on fire. April 15, 2017, Von and a few others lit up Cook County Jail. Filled the room, flames started building and chaos broke out. Luckily, the fire got contained before it became a disaster. Still, it showed how far Von was willing to go. That wasn't the only time he made noise. He even got caught popping pills behind bars. Guards spotted him, moved fast, cuffed him on the spot, and threw him in the hole. After 3.5 years of madness inside, Von's trial finally kicked off. It lasted 5 days, and Von was acquitted and set free. If Von was that wild behind the wall, you already knew he'd be 10 times more dangerous in the field. He had 7 separate and 4 confirmed dead to his name, and that's just what the feds and the streets could link to him. People really started watching after the 2012 hit on Lil Jojo. Back then, police had nothing solid. No arrest, no witnesses, no case. And when it came to beef, one of Von's most intense rivals was FBG Wooski. The beef between King Von and Wooski sparked in 2014. Von reached out to FBG, calling for a fade. Wooski pulled up to O Block shirtless and stepped right into hostile ground. A few older heads from the block were there, watching it all unfold. But that day, feds were heavy in the area, surveillance everywhere. Nobody wanted to move first and risk a case. Still, that moment made it clear. This wasn't just tension, it was war. There were no play. This was straight hands. Von and Wooski faced off one-on-one, raw and direct. Real street energy, but it didn't stay that way. Some young heads from O Block jumped in, trying to rush Wooski. Things turned wild fast. Before it escalated further, police swarmed in and shut it all down.
But we used to always fight O Block. Like the last fight I think, we was at my crib and Von called, "Where y'all at? Y'all some y'all ass won't link." So motherfuckers just got the merchant on their dead homie that we weren't gonna bring none of that. We just gonna link up and fight. It's like me, Wooski, us and shit. We meet up like 2 blocks away from O Block, a block away and shit. Had a big ass brawl. Everybody wanted King Von though. Beat his ass. They owe this ass. They wanted to jump. The whole crowd jumping him. They own his ass.
Is this when Wooski and Von fought?
Yeah. Wooski was the first to run over there towards Von. Like, That's his arch enemy and shit. I hate that. Running right to him. Everybody else. Every motherfucker was just, feel me? Yeah, they had a good little fight. But it ain't last long because motherfuckers wanted to jump him, so they ain't let the fight one-on-one and shit. It was a big-ass brawl.
After that, the two locked in heavy. Diss tracks started flying, sub posts, directions on social media. It wasn't just music, it was personal. By 2018, things hit a peak. Wooski dropped Computer's remix, taking aim at Von and his whole crew with disrespectful bars. Von didn't sit quiet. He came back with Crazy Story 2.0. That track blew up, went viral, and became one of his biggest records. Von spoke on the beef during an Instagram live. Someone in the comments mentioned Wooski's name, and Von snapped. Said he put hands on Wooski, no question. Claimed he caught him with solid hits, but Wooski had his own version. During a sit-down with Cam Capone, Wooski denied it all. Said Von never touched him. Claimed he held his ground the whole time until the feds came in.
Somebody, man, and they was telling me about a time when you and Von got in a fight in front of O Block. And I wanted to get your side of that story.
Oh. That's a funny ass old ass goofy shit. When we walked on Kings Drive and they was standing right there and the police and shit pulled up and they thought they was just gonna stand right there. We got the whooping their ass and shit. Me and him got the fight and then some other motherfucker came and jumped in and the police came, broke the fight up. We all got up out of there.
So you guys didn't even really get to really fight. You guys just kind of went at it a little bit and then the police kind of broke it up?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Once that interview dropped, talk started moving heavy through the streets. Old heads from O Block called cap on Wooski, said he was twisting the story. Later, Von came back at Wooski on Crazy Story Part 3 and he dropped the line, "I bet Wooski's still twitching." The line referred to a tragic moment in Wooski's life. Days before his close friend Dooski's funeral, some O Block members FaceTimed Wooski. They told him they had a gift waiting for him. No one really understood what that meant until the funeral day. At the funeral, the vibe was tense. People could feel something was off. Midway through the service, Wooski stepped outside for a... That's when it happened. 4 masks rolled up out of nowhere, hoodies up. They opened fire in broad daylight. Wooski got hit in the head, and 5 others were while leaving the church. Even though Wooski survived, that to the head changed everything. He had to slow down and step away from the streets, but Von didn't care. And if you thought Von was cold with Wooski, what he did with Tuka's name was 10 times worse. Von dissed Tuka in multiple songs, flipping his name into a slang word for... And for a fact, with Slim Santana, Von rapped, "Caught that boy right by that bus. This his last stop." Now, some thought that line was just aimed at an op in general, but in the streets, people believe Von was really talking about Lil Mark, Tuka's brother. 2 years after Tuka was, Lil Mark was also dead at a bus stop on the south side, March 28, 2014. Witnesses said a car pulled up, a man jumped out, opened fire, then sped off in a minivan. Later that same day, the van was found burned out. Classic getaway move. No fingerprints, no trace. But Von didn't stop at one diss. In all these Nas, he rapped, "Tuka in my lung, I say that every time cause he got..." That line didn't just hit hard, it went viral. Von kept going, laughing in interviews, dropping jokes and bars about Tuka like it was nothing. People even made montages of all the times Von mocked him. It got so deep, Tuka's own mother had to speak out, heartbroken, begging people to stop.
People entitled to their opinions and stuff, but I just can't get, with the dissing.
Right.
When my son, I'm talking about on every social media, I don't care where you go, it's dissing Tuka, dissing Tuka, dissing Tuka. Like, when could I get a chance to grieve?
Right. Von then turned the same savage energy he had for Tuka toward K12. In his track, Exposing Me, Von rapped, "I swear I killed her, broke her back." Everybody knew who he was talking about. K.I. wasn't just another name in Chicago. She was respected, feared, and known in the streets. A young STL with real bodies behind her. Some called her the Queen Assassin, but Von didn't respect that. He saw her as just another op.
Her reputation on the street, which was a hitter or a assassin. She was known to her rivals as somebody who was willing to shoot first, ask questions later. It's all over the internet. In fact, on her own Twitter site, she called herself Taekwon Assassin. Taekwon was a friend of hers she vowed to avenge his death.
Back in 2012, the tension hit a boiling point. K.I. was riding the train, staying alert, and that's when she saw him, King Von, her biggest enemy. Von made the first move. He walked up and punched her in the face multiple times right there in public, then walked off like nothing happened. Later, he even posted about it on Twitter, bragging, like it was just another day, but that moment was only the start. Fast forward to April 11th, 2014, around 3:30 p.m., K.I. was on her way to a birthday party, but Von and Big A had other plans. They caught her slipping on the block, so they pulled up, let off, and K.I. was dropped right there, and she was just 17 years old.
She was in the Woodlawn neighborhood and she was multiple times, and so the police thought that she was targeted, that she was assassinated, essentially.
Years passed, and the rumors never stopped. Then in 2021, Chicago PD confirmed what the streets had already said. King Von was officially named as K.I.'s. Von didn't just stop there. He kept sending subliminals in his music. In War With Us, he said, "Put a pretty op in a morgue, call that drop dead gorgeous." See, Von used to DM K.I. calling her pretty, playing flirty to throw her off, but it wasn't love, it was chess, and K.I. wasn't dumb. She saw through the fake love and knew it was a trap. But in the end, it didn't matter, because even one of Chiroc's coldest female stepper wasn't untouchable. She got caught, and Von walked away with another name under his belt. See, K.I.'s whole come-up in this war started after she lost her homie Tuka. That pain turned her into a... She started spinning for revenge, and that's what allegedly led her to let off on O.D. Perry, a respected O-Block member. So it makes sense why she never trusted Von. To her, he was the face of the other side. Von also mocked another FBG member, FBG Brick, who got down in 2017 alongside Kobe Mack right there on 63rd and St. Lawrence. Police found one with a head on the porch, and the other was to the back and arm, laid out behind the house. Both were declared dead on the scene. FBG Brick was FBG Duck's brother, and Von had real with Duck too. He dissed Duck heavy like in GTA, where he said, "He made a diss, now he a ghost. It happened fast." Duck was one of the most vocal drill rappers in the city, a real rival to Von. The tension was out in the open. They dissed each other back and forth, track after track. But things got serious when Duck dropped a track called Dead, aimed at fallen O-Block members. That song, disrespect to the max. It shook the streets, and folks say that made him target #1. Just weeks after the drop, Duck was out shopping in the Gold Coast. 2 cars pulled up, no warning, just fire. Duck got hit multiple times and was later pronounced dead at the hospital. Von didn't just have issues in Chicago. The tension stretched all the way down south too, because his situation with YoungBoy had been brewing long before things exploded. It started in 2020 when a video surfaced of Von vibing to a YoungBoy track on live. But it wasn't just him enjoying the song. He was mocking it, laughing while playing the track. On the surface, it seemed lighthearted, but people who knew the streets understood it was deeper than that. This wasn't casual joking, it was a subtle diss. Then came November 2020. Von pulled up to a lounge in Atlanta, just another night in the city. But then, Quando Rondo, an affiliate of YoungBoy, showed up. Words were exchanged, tempers flared, then everything spiraled. Rang out and Von was hit. That night, drill lost one of its most talked about figures, but Von's name still carries weight, and that fallout with YoungBoy remains one of the biggest unanswered questions in drill history. If you like this video, click one of the windows on either side to watch a video similar to this one.